Well, this one is going to be a tough one. The Creag Meagaidh circuit. We've got 1300 metres of elevation, 3 Munros. Just look at it. This is the ridge line that starts, and we can only see half of it here. I'm probably after going to do some hiker bike, probably about 200 metres vertical at a bare minimum. But we have new tyres, new chain, new brake pads, a new version on the eMTB, the latest update for the Gen 4. As usual, I'll take you along, and as usual, all the route will be in the Strava that is attached. So here we go, 26 minutes past 12. Away we go. So it's a nicely surfaced path through the bottom of Creag Meagaidh Nature Reserve until we get to the first steps. And I did expect to have to push these, but they only go to there. And here we are, the turn off. If you're doing this anti-clockwise like I'm doing, that's the way we'll come back down. We have come up 400 foot in 10 minutes. And look, I'm not saying if you trials this and your only thing was to prove that it was rideable, that you couldn't ride this sort of rocky step, but probably takes a lot more energy than walking, and I've got a big day ahead of me. And look, just goes up and up and up with steps. So I have decided just to walk this, and then, as I say, the top of this built section after 200 metres of vertical should be on to moors, which will be steep, but I think, well, I'm hoping, rideable. If the top section is not rideable, this will be a mistake. but if this is the only unrideable bit, I will be golden. Well, I've reached the top of the built bit onto the moory bit, and I did ride that last little bit, but this bit's still unrideable. I do think it eases off up there. I can see Van from here. It's down there in that car park. Zoom in. Like me zoom noises. But yeah, and that gap will be the uphill to the final Munro of the day, the biggest, Creag Meagaidh, what this circuit is named after. And this first one is Carn Liath. And if that sounds familiar, it's because I started this trip off camped under a different Carn Liath. Well, it's been tough, but every time I get tired I look over at that gap and think that was the alternative. Well, or obviously the obvious alternative of walking it with Freya. But maybe I'll be disappointed, but maybe just up here we get to the less steep bit that I can pedal again. But look, I'm riding. And then we're going to be back to pushing there. I can just see it. Oh well. As I say, I reckon in 200 metres vertical, and we've not done that yet. But a little false summit. And a little bit of riding. Right, back to pushing. Oh, look at the beach at the end of Loch Laggan. Could be tempted to jump in at the end of today It's a warm one. Oof. Well, 85% battery, 1220 foot climbed, not even been going an hour, 50 minutes, 1.75 mile. Is this onto the rideable bit? It's been tough so far, even walk mode. I'm not had to carry, but with walk mode, with your chain spinning and all this heather, you got to watch for your mech chain picking up stuff. It sometimes means I have to walk in the tick infested heather so the bike can be in the path, not collecting heather. But this is what I hoped for. At about this point, that we'll be on a more steady grade, and obviously we're in the middle of a heat wave, the third heat wave of the country so far this year. So this is pretty dry. I imagine in other years or other times of year this would be hellishly boggy, but maybe I'll be able to ride from here, or mainly ride from here, might be more appropriate. And again, there's the alternate path and up through that gap. And I'm going along all here. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's bag some Munros, because they are awesome. And this, look at the view, just keeps getting better. Keeps getting better. As views do, the higher up you go on a clear day like this. It might be hot and sweaty, but the views make up for it. Oosh. Get outside, enjoy nature. Oh. Well, I never really wanted to hike a bike, the e-bike, but look at me, here I am, hike-a-biking the bloody e-bike. Am I a proper YouTuber now? Because look at me. I'm going back down something I've just come up just to get the camera so you lot could see that, and I'm looking at it and thinking, is that really the right angle for seeing me up there? I bloody hope so, because I made it even more of an effort. Anyway, well, I don't know if I'm being too optimistic here, but let's see. This is still very steep. I am in my lowest gear. But I think if I can just get going, and then again, I'm not riding up that. I'm doing that talk to the camera to give me a rest thing again, but look at this view, it just gets better and better. You can see the other loch behind Loch Laggan, and you can see the Lochen up there, and I'm beginning to think that being able to ride all that path and then just have a definite hiker bike that you could well, know and prepare for. I thought by the time I got here on this, like up here, I'd be able to ride, but it's steeper than I thought, to the point where, as you've seen, I have been hiker biking, and even in walk mode. The problem with walk mode is it's actually a bit too fast. I'll have to have a Google, see if you can reduce the speed of walk mode. And that's why I also put it on my back and just walked on some of the steeper, rockier bits, because it's trying to spin too fast and you're trying to lift it up over rocks. Just like, you know what, sack this on the shoulder. And to be honest, once I'd sort of crossed that boundary and done my first hiker bike with the bike, and it was like, oh, it's not as bad as what I thought. And then I've done about 3 more sections, the second that I filmed, and then another big one where I just sort of got, oh, it's just going to be easier just to carry up this steep bit. But this is walk mode, and at some point it's got to be rideable. I'm assured that all of the ridgeline is rideable once I get to the ridge. So yeah, let's push on. What a view, what a view. Well, this last 10 minutes has been rideable across this sort of janky stuff. Turning the camera on to get to the top, it's gone extra janky. Oof. I thought I'd never get here. Come on. Boom. Boom! Oh yeah! Woo! It's not really been that bad once I got my head round it. 1 hour 40, 2,400 foot, 206, there we are, 1 hour 40, 2.76 mile. And I'm on 76% battery. So, yeah, boom. And then this ridge line, that's the next one. And then over to Creag Meagaidh itself, the top of there. Oh, well, That's the biggest climb done. Oh yeah, feels good to be riding. Well, that was janky, but not hard. See if we can get up this next path. The wind's fairly bad though. Maybe if I could try harder. Well, I've just done a little bit of pushing, but it has been mainly rideable. And I think this is a Munro top, and that over there is the next Munro. But you know, I like to put the camera on as we're getting near the top and we get the 360 view reveal. Boom! Oh yeah! So that's the next Munro. We're going to have a headwind up there, but it doesn't look too steep. Should be able to ride to that, and we can see the top of Creag Meagaidh in the background. And the Loch and down there, even down there, it's getting, you can see the wind chopping it up. It's not just up here that's windy. Actually, you know what? In this bit of wind where there's no wind here, I'm going to stop and have my banana. Oh yeah, monkey loves a banana. Well, that's come up quick. I think this is the top. This will be number 12 for me, and we can see 13 in the background. Is it this or is it that one? I don't know. Let's give it a boom. That looks higher. And this sort of rocky field has been all the ridgeline. Big banner, boom! Number 12. Woo! Oh yeah. and it might be windy today, but we have epic views. Anyway, being it doesn't seem that long since I stopped for my banana, let's see what this descent is like and look for the path. Oh, boy, it doesn't look so bad. Doesn't look like I go down too much. I'll be coming back to this gap because this is where I'll be heading back down. It was the alternative way to come up. I chose the way that I had to carry my bike for quite a bit and walk quite a bit. I'll know once I've gone down whether I chose the right way. I could go faster down here, especially with brand new tyres, but also I definitely don't want to slice a tyre, so quick enough to have fun, slow enough for tyre safety. A point to note as well, obviously I've not been filming all the time, but since I set off from the car, I have not seen one person at all. So one person on the walk this morning with Freya, a bird watching cameraman, but nothing, nobody this afternoon. Someone's bag there. I think that might be the guy that I saw. I think that was a sort of bag he had on. So he might have left it as you go up to the summit and back. That's not going to be rideable. Well, and that is the way back down. Looking forward to that, but first I think we're back pushing up here. Hey, boom, we're here. Number 13, Creag Meagaidh. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, and now we've got a different view. Now we're on the edge of here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and back to where we came down that path. And yeah, after seeing nobody, I saw two people on this hill, one of them at a distance, one of them that I went and chatted to. It was the one guy I'd seen earlier this morning walking with Freya, looking for some sort of bird beginning with D. Was it a dasher? I don't know. But yeah, boom, we're here. And although the weather is supposed to turn, I think I can probably get down in half hour from here, and I'm pretty sure the weather isn't going to change in half an hour. So yeah, good and happy. Right, let me get a cover shot. So 3,500 foot done, 3:30, 3 hours to the top, 7.6 mile. Currently at 3,682 foot. Started off at 800 foot. So got like a 2,800 foot descent from here. Half an hour maybe. Let's go. Loads of battery left, 46%. Get to feel how my freshly serviced forks feel. Cheers. That was the guy looking for the dasher or whatever the bird was that he was looking for. And my forks are feeling better for a service. But let's see if they stay consistent or they do that fading again. Or maybe it's my arms that fade and I just blame the forks for my old age decrepitness. Into the boulder field. Skirting the boulder field. Ah, there was the cairn. So that way that I came back, I went on the other path that's like a longer way around. But I was told there was a cairn to look out for, but I missed it when going up. Okie dokie. I think I'm a bit low here. I think there's a path leads up there. Ah. There we are. I'll say when I was hiking up the other way, I was looking at this gap and going, well, that was the alternative. Oh. So I went low and that path disappeared, so then I went high and came up here, and then I had to come down again to get a low path. But hopefully we should now be on the ride down. And how rideable this scree is, I really don't know, because it's steep, it's hairpins on scree from all accounts. Not even at the scree, I'm just in the boulder field. Well then, push through that, pushing over there, bit of a path there. I can see what I'm aiming for, and I still can't see how to get through this gap. Well, I don't think I'm going to ride too much, but we might get the reveal in these 10 metres. Yeah, you know what? I think I will I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to walk down here, and looking at this now, this was probably the better way to e-bike up. I think this would have been a shorter hiker bike, doing it clockwise. It would have just been just one long hiker bike rather than like 6 separate short hiker bikes the other way. Well, we're getting there. Down here, down there, and then I'm targeting about there to start riding out. But yeah, this is definitely the toughest thing I've tried to do with the e-bike. But there we go, Type 2 fun. Well, I think this is the start of the standard jank rather than coming down a cliff. Still a long way to go. I think at the top I said half an hour to the bottom, and I've half an hour to here after walking down there. So let's see how much of this is rideable. Oh, the joys of editing. I'll be able to edit that bit out as well. Don't know if it shows on the camera just how steep this is. My ass is way over the back wheel. Okay, I'm saying now that this is the payoff. This is the sweet, sweet single track all the way back to the car. Well, to the van, to the van. Following this little stream from the Laggan all the way down the valley. Hey, that was quite a big hole, falling off the track. That was quite a big gap. I didn't mean to sneak up on you. Cheers for that. So we're not far now off where I turned off this path. And it's quite blind. And I don't think there'll be anyone. But like the other day about this time I was walking up to check it out. So I was the walker going up, but I am worried about now going down. And I will chuck myself off if I can't stop, but I'm maintaining a speed that I feel comfortable with, being able to react. Look, there's where I turned off. .426. We're just coming up on 4 hours, and it was 3 hours 5 minutes when I set off down. So an hour down, still a chunk of time, most of it trying to get down that cliff, scree cliff. Well, that was a tough one. A tough one.